Hi guys, in this video I am going to describe the dietary steps required to put gout in remission, and we start right now. Hi, I'm Dr. Pete. I have a PhD in biochemistry and I'm a certified health coach and a nutrition network advisor. In 2016 I was diagnosed with gout. In 2019 I was diagnosed with prediabetes. I reversed my prediabetes in 52 days on a ketogenic diet, and I have put my gout in remission. In this episode, I will describe a ketogenic eating plan to put gout in remission. I have previously presented the science behind this presentation, and it is in a video linked above. To summarize this presentation, any eating plan will meet the following 4 criteria. First, any eating plan must eliminate alcohol, sugar, high fructose corn syrups, agave syrups, and processed food. Secondly, the eating plan needs to lower additional carbs. Third, the eating plan needs to lower the inflammatory cascade. In particular, we need to lower the protein JNK1 and the cytokine IL-1 beta. Fourth and last, any eating plan that puts gout in remission needs to enable the production of beta-hydroxybutyrate, which inhibits directly the gout inflammation process. Before starting your gout remission lifestyle, you must prepare for these lifestyle changes. Make sure you're under the supervision of a doctor, because as I explained in the videos that deal with the science that was linked above this presentation, there can be spikes in uric acid during this dietary transition, and you will be vulnerable to a gout flare. So you need to be under the supervision of your doctor so that you can deal with that potential inevitability. Remember that gout is very often associated with other chronic disorders like type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease. And therefore, if you suffer from gout and you are thinking about moving to this lifestyle in order to put gout in remission, I strongly suggest that you have blood work done so you can ascertain if there are any other comorbidities, this is what they're called, that are also associated with your gout condition. Lastly, in this lifestyle, in order to know how your progress is going, I recommend monitoring biomarkers. At minimum, be prepared to monitor your weight, your blood pressure, your glucose, ketones, and uric acid. Now, before we go any further, I want to let you know that in the show notes below the video, you will find a keto-approved food list. You will also find the recommended list of biomarkers that should be determined in your blood work. And lastly, I'm also giving you a link to our ebook that describes in detail how to do the low-carb lifestyle. Between this video and the links below, you will be ready to actually go into this lifestyle. And I would encourage you to click those links. Don't worry, I am not going to try to sell you anything. I'm not even asking you for an email. However, in each case, there will be a password that you need that is listed there in order for you to be able to download what you find on the other side of the link. Now let's outline a gout remission lifestyle. Number 1, and you're going to hear me say this again, the lifestyle eliminates alcohol, sugar, high fructose corn syrup, agave syrups, and processed food. The diet is based on real whole food. We cut it up and we cook it and then we eat it. We eliminate, and I'm going to use an acronym here that's super important, GPS. We eliminate grains, potatoes, and sugar of all types and forms. The percentage breakdown of macros will be 5% carbs, 20% protein, and approximately 75% fat. Notice I use the word approximate, and this is because diets are individual. So even though I've given you this breakdown, 5% carbs, 20% protein, 75% fat, you over time will tweak those percentages to optimize the lifestyle for yourself. The goal, however, is to make sure that you're eating no more than 50 grams of total carbs per day. And the way that you're going to monitor that is by measuring biomarkers, mainly glucose and ketones. The goal over the course of a day, no matter what you put in your mouth, is to maintain the production of ketones between 0.5 millimolar and 5 millimolar. In the lifestyle, you will maintain the amount of protein between 16 and approximately 20 ounces. Again, there's variability here because the amount of protein that you're eating on a daily basis is going to be dependent on your weight, your height, and your activity level. And this is another thing that you will over time have to tweak up or down a little bit in order to maximize how you feel and how your activity level is going. Lastly, we eat natural, healthy fats. These include ghee, butter, beef tallow, bacon grease, olive oil, and avocado oil. So now let us turn to how we actually eat. And what I advocate for is what I call the plate method. So if you imagine a dinner plate, and what we're going to do is just literally cut it into 3 segments. And we're not using the segments in terms of their volume. We're just saying that there are 3 parts to the plate. In one part of the plate is where the protein is going to be. And you can gauge how much protein is there without resorting to scales and all this by just utilizing the metaphor that the size of the protein should approximate a men's wallet that is packed full of receipts. So it's a fat wallet. And that is going to represent somewhere between 16 to 20 ounces of protein qualitatively. The other 2 segments of the plate should have what I call green listed keto approved vegetables. Remember that in the show notes, I have published our keto food list there. There's no gimmicks or tricks. So if you download that, you can see directly. It's a color-coded list. So when I talk about green listed vegetables, I mean the ones that have low carb content in them. Those are the ones that go into these segments on the plate. So you can extrapolate the plate method literally to any meal. The idea is every time you put something in your mouth, the goal is to keep the carbs as low as possible. Basically, you want to focus on the idea of protein and the idea of the fat that it's cooked in. So as an example, eggs make excellent breakfasts. You can fry them over easy. You can make omelets. You can scramble them and mix in keto-approved vegetables. You can mix cheese with them and so on. Usually what happens because of the fact that protein and fat are so highly satiating, very quickly in the ketogenic lifestyle, people tend to shift into a mode where they're only eating 2 meals a day. This phenomenon happens naturally. It's not something that you need to force. So in the beginning, when you move to the keto lifestyle, what I recommend doing is keeping a stash of snacks in the refrigerator that will include things like salami, smoked salmon, and some type of cheese source. And that way, in the beginning, where you're still used to eating 5 or 6 standard American meals per day, between The ketogenic meals, if you get hungry, then you can have a couple slices of cheese or a couple slices of salami or some combination. But what you will find over time is that eventually your body is going to shift into a mode where you are going to be eating fewer times every single day. Oh, and one last thing. Remember that we are cooking and eating real whole food. We are not eating out of boxes. Beware of the food processors and manufacturers, because they have keyed into the fact that so many of us out here now are eating ketogenic, and packaged and processed foods have too many carbs. But if you must eat out of a package, then I advocate for holding to what I call the 1 gram of total carb rule. When you turn the package around and you look at the nutrition label and you read the ingredients list, if in the nutrition label the total carbs are listed greater than 1 gram, then put the package back and walk away. So to finish up, what is the biggest challenge to the gout remission lifestyle? Through experience, those of us in this space know that by far the biggest factor in a successful gout remission lifestyle, the ketogenic lifestyle, is the addiction to sugar and alcohol. This is a brain disease that happens with the majority of us because over decades we've been drinking alcohol and eating the standard American diet, which is loaded with sugar. The sugar and the alcohol light up the same place in the brain where addictive processes happen. The result is that we have cravings for alcohol and sugar. And these happen in everybody who is going to make the shift to the ketogenic lifestyle. So therefore, one must be honest with themselves about their cravings. And they come in all shapes and forms. So some of us will need help. And where do you find the help? Support groups are great. So look into making connections and finding like-minded people that are going through the same processes so that you have a way of reaching out and talking about the issue of the cravings. Because to be successful in this lifestyle and to put the gout flares in remission, it is necessary to not drink alcohol and eliminate the sugar from our lifestyle. And you may need help doing that. Don't be afraid to reach out. Next, family support is super important. If you're the only one in a family doing the ketogenic diet, we have found that this becomes problematic because your eating needs are completely different than the rest of the family. Quite often, the rest of the family thinks that what you're doing is completely woo-woo. So the question is getting everybody around the table and talking about the transition that you're making and creating an atmosphere of support. Social aspects can be quite intense because we all have friends. You know, we go over for a meal with our closest buddies, right? And 99% of the time, what's sitting on the table will be food that you cannot eat. And so you will need to communicate with those people so that they understand what you're doing. And one of the strategies that I use is I always bring some contributions of my own to put on the table. That way I know that there will be something on the table for me to eat when it's time to have dinner. Lastly, we are living in a world of alcohol and of carbohydrates. The standard American meal, the standard American dinner, right? 99% of the time there's going to be people drinking alcohol at the table. And the food is going to be very high in carbohydrates. There's going to probably be desserts ordered and so on. So think about this before you put yourself in those situations so that you have a plan that you can utilize in order to stay in the lifestyle. Thank you for watching the presentation. Remember, you can find in the show notes our food list, a link to our ebook, and also a link to our listed blood work biomarkers. Additionally, you will also find other links that go to group support networks that we have and programs that we offer. If this is the first time that you joined us, please hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you know when the next time is that we've published a video. And thank you for watching.